One of the biggest shocks to the system when you start writing academic papers or thesis is the language that you have to be using. Now, you might already speak English, and you might even speak English very, very well. You might actually even be a native speaker of that language, but you're probably not used to the really formal academic way of phrasing things. And this is something that I've seen students and researchers struggle a lot with, expressing their ideas in academic English. That's why in this video I want to give you a couple of quick tips how you can do that better and how quickly you can make that switch from everyday English to academic English. So let's get started. Before I show you how to make that switch and how to quickly improve your academic English, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also that little bell sign so you get notified when I post new videos. And if you're new here, my name is Marek Kiczkowiak and I run academicenglishnow.com, where I help university students and researchers write better theses and papers. So how can you quickly improve your academic English, and how can you make that switch from the everyday English that you might be using with your friends, or maybe that you hear on TV a lot, to appropriate formal academic English? The first tip is really simple, but it's something that people are really surprised about, and I found that very few people actually do that consistently. And that would be to notice simply what other researchers are doing in your field. What do I mean by that? Well, you're already reading a lot of academic papers, right? So when you're reading them, just highlight the key expressions that other academic writers are using in your field. For example, imagine you're writing the introduction to your paper now, and you're not sure how to start the introduction or how to present the aim of your paper. By the way, I've got videos on that and I posted the links below it. But you could simply, while reading a paper, highlight the phrases that other authors are using to, for example, state the aim of your paper. And then what should you do next? Write these phrases down on a piece of paper, on a post-it note, and put it on your desk, put it on your laptop so that you can easily see them and that they are accessible. This is really, really important, because just highlighting the phrases is obviously a good first step, but we're all forgetful and you might quickly forget these phrases unless you remind yourself about them. So write them down somewhere, be it on your laptop or on a piece of paper, and make them easily available to you, and then use them when you're writing your paper or thesis. So that's a really important tip as well. You need to kind of push yourself and start using the new language that you're learning. Otherwise, you will kind of stay within the English that you already know and you won't improve. So that's really important. Start using these phrases. Another thing that you could do with them is to use an app like Memrise or Quizlet or any other app for flashcards, where you simply start adding all those new phrases and you spend 5 minutes a day or every other day revising them. This will also help you memorize these phrases. Another tip that I want to give you to sort of make that switch from everyday informal language to formal one is to try to avoid everyday words. I call them everyday words because they really are everyday words. These are words that you would very, very frequently use in everyday conversations or in everyday messages to your friends, but they're not really that appropriate in academic writing. Just to give you a couple of examples, in here I'm talking about verbs like have, make, do, put, or get. They're not really informal per se, but they are very general and they're very everyday, and there are much more specific words and much more appropriate academic words that you could start using. Obviously, there are situations when you can use those words in fixed phrases, like, for example, have an impact on. Then obviously here it's fine to use have. But to give you another example from a paper that I was recently correcting for a student, that person wrote have a successful outcome, right? And obviously that's correct, good English, but this word have is, you know, a bit of an everyday word, and there are many other more specific words that could be used in this context. For example, that student could have said achieve a successful outcome, and that would have sounded much more academic. So try to think about those everyday words and put them somewhere else and start thinking about more specific words. That's another really important tip. Academic language is characterized by being very, very specific. Now think back to the example that I gave you of have a successful outcome. This verb have can be used in a million different contexts, right? But a verb like achieve can be used only much more specifically. It's got a very precise meaning. To give you another example, think about an everyday word like get. You can get a letter, get a good grade, you can get a present, or in the past we would get letters as well, and now we get emails and messages, right? So get can be used in a million different ways. So you want to look for words that are much more specific. For example, you don't get results in academic English, but you obtain results, right? You can also receive something like receive a good grade. Rather than get a promotion, you gain a promotion, right? The last tip that I want to give you is connected to those specific words, and it's really, really valuable if you speak a Romance language such as Spanish, Portuguese, Romanian, or French, because the vast majority of English words already come from French or Latin, but the more formal English gets, the more words it will have either directly from Latin or from French. So think about words like obtain, right? In Spanish, it's obtener. In French, it's obtenir, right? Another example is achieve. In French is achever, right? So if you speak any of these languages, try to think about formal words from Spanish, French, or any other Romance language, and then you will easily be able to find a very, very similar word in English that most of the time will be appropriate for that context as well. So in this video, I gave you a couple of really quick tips that will help you improve your academic English and make that switch from everyday informal English to appropriate formal academic English. If you want more tips like that, join my 5-day Instant Better Academic Writing Challenge, where in just 10 minutes a day for the next 5 days, you can significantly improve your academic writing.